One of the questions I get asked most often is, hey wine guy, is 2 Buck Chuck any good? But I can't really answer that because I've never tasted 2 Buck Chuck. But all of that is gonna change today as I have my first taste of 2 Buck Chuck and I'm gonna share it with you. A little background. The real name of 2 Buck Chuck is Charles Shaw Wine. It's nicknamed 2 Buck Chuck because for years it was sold for $2 in California. Charles Shaw is made by the Blanco Wine Company in California. The Blanco Wine Company is owned by Fred Franzia, one of the pioneers of the box wine industry. 2 Buck Chuck is sold exclusively at Trader Joe's. Charles Shaw was a real person who ran a real winery called Charles Shaw. But they went out of business, and in 1990, Blanco bought the rights to the name. I read in a history of Trader Joe's that Charles Shaw tried to sue to get them to remove the name, but that was unsuccessful. I'm gonna sample a Chardonnay, a Sauvignon Blanc, a Merlot, and a Cabernet Sauvignon. They also make a Shiraz, a Rosé, and a Pinot Grigio. But based on orders from my doctor, I'm only gonna sample these 4. In addition to giving you my initial impressions of each wine, I'm gonna declare each wine as either drinkable or undrinkable. My definition of drinkable is that if you invite me over to your house, you pour me a glass of the wine, I'm gonna finish the glass and not try to find a sink or a potted fern to pour the glass into. They give you this little tab to take the foil off, which eliminates having to find a foil cutter. I think more winemakers should consider doing that. The first one we're gonna sample is the Chardonnay. It has a pleasant light aroma. You can smell some oak and some butter, but at a wine in this price point, they use oak chips. This wine has never seen the inside of a barrel. It's not unpleasant. It's kind of flat. It's got a little bit of a funky flavor at the end, but overall I'd have to say it's drinkable. Next up is the Sauvignon Blanc. Not much on the nose, it's pretty benign. Kind of got a bitter funk to it. No green apple, grapefruit, or lemon or other citrus that you'd expect in a Sauvignon Blanc. The longer it lingers, it's just sort of an increasing funk that's in the mouth. That's undrinkable. Next up is the Merlot. The nose it's actually pleasant. It seems deep and rich. It's a little flat. Not a lot of flavors come through. It's a little jammy. A little bit of funk at the end. It's pretty benign. Like I said, it's not balanced. I'd have to say it's drinkable. Next up, the Cabernet Sauvignon. Looks a little hazy as I'm pouring it. I'm not getting much of a nose. There's not a lot going on there. Get a little bit of black cherry. Tastes a little bit of oak. I'd have to declare it as drinkable. If you only want to spend a couple of bucks, go for it. But as for me, I'm pretty well done with it. I'm Gasper the Wine Guy. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter, and like me on Facebook.